The following program was produced or sponsored by a community member. The content, views, and opinions expressed are the sole responsibility of the producer and do not reflect those of Malden Access Television, the City of Malden, or Comcast. MATV welcomes your comments. Call us at 781-321-6400 or email us at access@matv.org.
From the high-tech studios of Malden Access Television, located in the heart of downtown Malden, it's time for Live on Tape, the television show. On tonight's program, whether we're ready or not, our guest will be Karen Hayes from FOOGI, comedian, author Paul D'Angelo, and musician, songwriter Sam Mulligan, as well as other surprises. And now, please welcome this year's top pumpkin from the Cops Fair Fair, our host, Ron Carr.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, everybody. Hey, yes, let's hear it. My God, it's a hey. How you doing? How you doing? Thanks for coming. I'm Ron Cox, and I'm the host of the show. And hey, I just got back from Chicago, the Windy City. As you can see, it blew all my hair away. Thank you very much. But I did have a great time. That's a signal to my cue card lady. The only issue I had was the flight. You know, I'm not crazy about flying, and most people aren't. But to top it off, I had problems at the gate. I was stopped from boarding because neither the TSA nor the airline personnel would let me board with my emotional support case of beer. Thank you very much. Thank you. Because when we got there, it was freezing, and it's only October. There were actually snowflakes falling from the sky. I mean, really, it's like hell. It seems like Chicago only has two seasons: winter and Eskimo summer. Yes, thank you very much. you know, it's kind of harsh, but you know, between the weather, the gun violence, and the Bears coaching, it's no wonder the Chicagoans are a little bitter. Yes, that's right. That's his last game last week. Yeah, okay. But I did all the usual things. I visited Chicago Institute of the Arts. I saw the giant beam mirror. I went to the top of the Sears building. I dodged a few bullets, and I actually survived the taxi cab ride. Thanks very much. Yes. You know, I did see a lot of people riding bikes. You know, a Chicago bicycle list is what you get when you take all the aggression and recklessness of a Chicago driver and then add entitlement of thinking you're saving the planet. Yes, thank you very much. Anyway, I'm back. I'm happy to be home. Halloween, you know, is just around the corner, and you can tell by all the Christmas decorations. You know, the way it's going, by 2020, I expect we'll be seeing Christmas decorations right around July 4th. Yeah, climate change, right? Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes. And I think that's it. Thank you very much for Karen. Let's hear for Karen. She's fantastic. Okay. But anyway, it's great to be back. I had a great time in Chicago, like I mentioned, but back home, it's good to be back, and it's great to have the show. Again, we're live again, and it's great for having you tune in, and we have a great show. I know I said it last time, but this time, I really mean it. Thank you very much. All right, let's find out who's on the show tonight. You heard, my goodness, Karen Hayes from FOOGI is coming on. They're going to talk about Haunt Jaunt, which was just last week, where they had this great race, 4K race, where everybody's dressed in costumes. And we're going to see a little bit of that. So it was a lot of fun. It was a perfect day for it. And also we have on the show, he's been on the show before a long time ago, and he's on again because now I found out, not only is he a great comedian, and he's a new book out, he's an author, and he's also an artist. Let's hear it for Paul D'Angelo. Yes, let's hear it, yes. And this fellow's been on the show before, and he's fantastic. I think it's been about 5 years since he's been on, but he's on the show tonight. Let's hear it for Sam Mulligan.
Hey!
Fantastic musician, and he's kind of like from outer space, but you'll find out more about when you hear him. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we're going to have a great show, as I mentioned. So stay with us, and we'll be right back after this very short message. Thank you. Let's hear it. Yes, people.
Hey!
Live. Okay, we got to roll on the go-to. We'll be right back. Thank you very much.
Someone's different.
The reason I come here is that You don't show Paul yet. You don't want to show Paul yet. Thank you very much.
Coming in on camera 1 5.
All right, we're here. Hey, how you doing? Thank you. We're back, people. You know, I always like to make sure the audience is alive. There's nothing worse than an audience sleeping or you know, and going into comas. We don't like that. Anyway, first guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is incredible because I have one guest. I got 3 in 1. This is incredible. He's been on the show as a comedian, but also he just wrote a new book, La Miserables.
L.A. Miserable, as in Los Angeles.
It's a takeoff. I get it now.
Yes.
But he's also an artist, and I did not know this, and we're going to see some of his art tonight. So please join me in welcoming Paul D'Angelo. Paul, how you doing?
Good to see you, Ron.
Oh,
You
fantastic.
did a little stand-up yourself at the beginning
Well,
here.
thank you.
Not bad.
Yes,
Not
yeah,
bad.
but I get to read it and cue cards. I don't know how you guys do it, memorizing it. But thanks for coming on the show. But you know, we've heard the comedy before, but let's hear about this book. How'd this happen?
Well, this is actually my 3rd book. My first 2 books, they both won a bunch of international awards, 4 and 5 international, but they were all a collection of short, funny stories. The funny thing that happened with this is I do a show at the beautiful Ockham Theater in Beverly every New Year's. It'll be like the 5th or 6th year this year. And the person who was the opening act announced that during the intermission I would be signing my 3 books. And everyone's, oh, he's got a 3rd book. And they came, I want to get the 3rd book.
They hadn't read it yet.
There's no 3rd book. So one of my friends suggested, he says, when I moved out to L.A., and I lived there for 6 years, right in Hollywood Boulevard, he said, you wrote those diaries. There were 6 full-length diaries that I wrote while I was there, figuring I was going to make it. And this would be the chronological,
Success.
Yes, my blueprint for success. And well, at the end of those 6 books, I came home. But I started going through that first diary, and it was hilarious because I hated it.
Yeah.
See, because comedy comes from tragedy. People say to me, I'll try to help out comedians. What's funny? I said, it's a thin line between tragedy and comedy.
Yeah.
It comes from tension. It comes from pressure. It comes from awkward situations.
Exactly.
So there was no
None of that.
lack of that when I moved out to LA because I
Yeah.
kind of went back. I was very successful out here and then went backwards to go to LA. But what it did do, the book, the diary, was a way for me to stay creative,
Yeah.
to write when I couldn't get on stage at the beginning before I could establish myself there. And it was also a way to vent all the frustrations that were
that's
out
great,
there.
yeah.
When something bad happened, instead of saying, hey, this is horrible, and dwelling on it and making it worse, I'd say, oh, this is
No,
funny.
that's
I'll
a
make
great
it
idea.
funny. I'll write it down.
Right.
And that's why it's so funny, because I was miserable.
Well, I like the tagline, Amusing Misadventures in La La Land, and that's great. So where can people get this book?
You can get it on my website at pdangelo.com, or you can get it on Amazon. I'm working on the second one. A guy just finished reading it. One of the first people to read it just came out. And he said, oh, you're killing me. What happens? What happens? It says to be continued. I said, I'm working on it.
So there is another book coming.
Yeah, and I'm
that's
already
great.
working on just doing the editing of that second diary.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your background, because a lot of people, before we get into the art, people might not know it, but you started as a lawyer.
Yeah?
And talk a little bit about that experience.
I was an assistant district attorney in Essex County for 11 years. And then I became, by accident, a criminal defense attorney.
Yeah.
I was very successful, but kind of miserable once again,
Yeah.
because I used to say I would do good things for bad people.
Yeah.
And nobody ever called me when they're having a good day.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I had a case that really disturbed me. I said, what am I doing? I could be on a cruise ship, or I could be out in Vegas or something like that. So I dropped it, and that's when I moved out to Hollywood.
Yeah. And then hence
yeah,
the book.
that's
the
when I
first
moved out to
book.
Hollywood. Yeah, but I started doing comedy about when I was in the DA's office about 3.5 years. I did about a half dozen open mics, but I had worked for a year behind. I didn't have the luxury of being lousy for a while,
Right.
and then developing,
You
because
kind of
people go,
developed while you were doing it.
what are you doing?
Right.
You're a great lawyer. Why
Yeah.
would you do this?
Right.
You're such a good trial attorney, which was actually a good background for all this. So
Oh, yeah.
what I did is I wasn't worried about getting on stage, but I wrote for a year. I wrote. I had
Well, that's the
20
key,
minutes
I
of
think,
material
to
before I
all
did 5 minutes.
You got to get it down, and I think every comedian that I've known in Boston does the same thing. He keeps notebooks, writes
Oh
down
yeah,
thoughts.
but I wrote. I was just on a roll. I was so
great.
driven, and I had such a passion for it. And I only did about a dozen open mics, and I quit because my parents were on my back going, "What the hell are you doing?" Right?
That's right.
And finally I quit, and I was ready to take a job with a big law firm in Boston, and I panicked at the last minute. I said, "I don't want this. This is everything I don't want." And I called up two of the biggest agents in Boston and lied about my credentials. I've been in New York at these places. Oh, well, we'll come and see you. Do an audition for us. And I started headlining right away.
Well, that's great. Well, you're great. Your comedy's great. You're playing all around, and that's good to see that. And let's face it, Boston's got a great comedy scene.
Oh,
for
it's
the
the
longest
best.
time, since Ding Ho, those days.
Well, you know what? The New York, L.A. are melting pots where people come from all over the country to develop and get, discovered or whatever. But Boston, as far as a city itself, is in a class by itself. There's no other place. And the original Boston comedians who were here, the Lenny Clark, Steve Sweeney, Don Gavin, Mike Donovan, Kenny Rogers, those guys, they all set the standard so high that they made it a challenge for every other comedian to come up here. And when Boston comedians go to other cities, you could tell that they're head and shoulders above most of the other
bar's high, and that's what I love about it and stuff. So, so you play all over the place. In terms of, let's talk about some gigs coming up. Anything?
Oh yeah, you know what? It's not quite a club business anymore. Where the clubs, you would go to a club and you'd go there for the whole week. You'd go out of town, and there'd be a show every night. Then on Friday, Saturday night, maybe 2 shows each night. But those clubs all fell by the wayside. It kind of peaked and burnt itself out because they weren't developed. Comedy takes time to develop. To be a great comic, you got to put a lot of time in. So new people weren't coming in. Some of the established people weren't working on their material. They could see it on TV any night. It kind of fell off a little bit. So now, instead of going to clubs, I do some clubs in the area like Giggles and the Kowloon because they're close and people want to see me. And I'll go out of town to do some clubs, but mostly it's all corporate events and conventions and fundraisers and benefits and special events and things like that. And I stay extremely busy, but it's just it's kind of adapting to
the new scene,
to the way it is, to the way the whole
and then people's
genre's
attention
adapting.
spans are just so short these days. Everything's on
That's
the phone.
true too.
It's like,
what was that? I wasn't paying attention.
well, and that's the other thing. Seeing these comedians and how they've developed and gone on to big things. Like I remember Jimmy Tingle was a bartender.
Sure.
And then now he's like running for lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
How's that happen?
Yeah. So Jimmy. Yeah, you'd be surprised that a lot of comedians have like a whole different life. That things that they excelled at. That you would never even imagine. I know Dave Russo's been on here. Was a great wrestler. He was a state champ wrestler. The other people are great musicians. There's a lot of comedians that have other skills or other things that you'd be surprised to find out.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then your kind of humor, I love your style because it's like everyday stuff. It's like family stuff.
Well, you have to do things that people can relate to, even if they haven't experienced it themselves. If you can present it in a way that they can associate with it and say, "Oh, I've been in that situation before," or whatever.
So you connect to an audience.
And then you get the laughs by saying something that they don't expect to hear, or something you lead them down one way and change it up, hit them with something unexpected, and that's what
gets them.
That's where you get the reaction.
Well, you're very funny and very stuff.
Well,
but let's talk about this. Speaking of unexpected, I just found out, seeing your art online. You shared me some of your pieces. What a big surprise this is. Tell us how this started.
Well, I guess I always drew when I was a kid. I was the oldest child, so I had to amuse myself. So I made models even when I was in grammar school, I made models that I customized and painted and things and put in contests. And I would draw and I'd amuse myself that way and everything. And I drew in high school. In fact, my senior year in high school, I got injured the Thanksgiving game and missed the whole basketball season. And I was starting outfielder in the baseball team, and I threw up my shoulder playing floor hockey.
So you had some free time.
On the first day of baseball practice.
Oh my goodness.
And so I missed those 2 seasons, and I ended up drawing all the illustrations for the high school yearbook. I drew characters, my friends and everything. Then I went to in college and law school, I did some drawing. You'll see some of these scratch boards that I did in college and law school. And then I kind of dropped it. I really didn't do much. I'd do some advertising for people and things like that, but I was so busy. I would go to law school and working 2 jobs. When I was a lawyer, I was working every night and every day. So I kind of put it aside for a long time, and then I just started drawing again. My family has a house up in the Gloucester area. My uncle, who was old school, grew up in the Depression, who never wanted, had the underwear they issued him in the Navy in 1942. I say, you got a nice house in Gloucester near the water. Why don't you have some nice paintings on the wall or something?
Exactly.
And oh no, I just like those old horrible things that were on the wall.
The velvet things. Eh?
There were posters and things. You could see the Scotch tape
my
holding them
gosh.
up and everything. But he was old school, so I said the only way I'm going to do this is I'll draw some
You
Gloucester
put the stuff on the
scenes.
wall.
And every time I drew one, he loved it, and I would take down one of the lousy pictures and replace it with my pictures.
You give him kind of an upclass.
So I did that, and then I just started painting not that long ago for the first time.
Well, you tell the story how, again, you were working as a lawyer in the courtroom. Tell the story about what you were doing while the court case was going on.
Oh, I was always doing. In fact, all the secretaries always, when they got the folder back, because I had the ADD. I mean, I'd be listening to everything that's happening. I was drawing, doodling, and doing things. And in fact, one judge, I remember, is he slow? And I drew this picture of him. I drew a snail with the judge's face on the snail, and he had a little gavel. And I showed it to the clerk, and he started laughing. The judge said, "Oh, what's that you're looking at?" And he showed, and he didn't get it. I mean, that's how slow he was. But he didn't get it. But I just ran into a detective who was telling some people. He goes, "Let me tell you a story about Paul. We were doing a jury trial, and it was important. I think it was a drug trafficking case or something. And Paul never missed a beat. He was talking, and the whole time he was writing notes furiously. And when he went up to the bench to talk to the judge, he says, I looked over to see what the notes were. He was and it was a caricature of the whole jury. One guy's picking his nose, somebody's asleep, some lady.
Typical jury.
Yeah. So, and I said, did I miss a question? Did I miss an objection? He said, no, you didn't. So I used to do that.
So you know how to use your spare time during events. That's
Yeah.
great. Well, we did have some art to show, and let's actually, the first picture I think is a picture of his earlier book. Let's take a look at that, if that's ready. Yeah, what book was this? Is the?
Oh no, I actually, you know what? I didn't even draw that.
Oh, no, but I want to talk about that book. What book was this?
That's my first book.
That's
It's
the
called
very
Stories I Tell. Yeah.
All right.
So some
I
of the
do want to
awards it
show
won.
it because we had it.
That's all right. That's what happens when you have live TV.
I know. All right.
Yes.
The first piece of art, I think. Let's go to that right now.
Yeah.
Let's see what, and Paul can tell
Let's
us
see what we
see.
got here. This is working out well.
I know.
There
There it is. Oh, look at this.
Well, actually, this is one of the first paintings I did with acrylic paints, and I'm kind of learning as I go along. But this is going to be hanging in a restaurant in Gloucester, one of the prints
Well, I was going to say
and things. But
it's like Gloucester.
and once again, I did this for that family's house up in Magnolia, up in Gloucester. So I put it on the wall and take out one of the
All right. What do we got
one
next
of the
besides black?
crappy ones on the wall.
Like this. Yeah, that's me in the black.
That's
It's
good.
awfully dark in here, people. Yeah. We got more pictures. I swear we do.
That's
And here they
good.
come. The second one is.
I could draw
should be
another
right
one by the
after
time this thing comes up.
I know. There's one. Oh, there I am, framed. How you doing?
That's good.
You know, like I said, we're working out a new crew, and it's live TV. Yeah, how you doing over there?
That's good.
There we go. What's
Okay,
this
now
book?
I've done a bunch of maritime pictures. This is with my friend's boat. Actually, this friend's become very successful since then. He's bought a 70-foot Hatteras since
Really?
then. But this was his boat at the time, and he's a very dear friend of mine. So I
So
wanted to
obviously
do a
took
nice
you
picture
fishing
for him.
so you could get the feel for the fish.
I actually taught him how to fish with his first boat.
Really?
And then he kept moving up. That's what you do in boat. It's like when you're in boating, it's like showering in gym class when you're in high school.
Exactly.
There's always one bigger. So I'm glad you got that, sweetheart. Okay.
Okay,
So,
I guess
yeah.
those things. So, all right, we got more? I know we do. You just got to go to the vault to find them. Here they are. So
That's good.
it's
Yeah.
all electronic, live TV, and
Not all that live right
And I
now.
know,
No.
really. so we got it. I know they're there. But let's talk about the media. Could you talk about the next one we're going to see? I think is a bunch of musicians that you did.
Oh, those are. Well, who knows what's coming up here now?
That guy,
that's
he
actually,
looks familiar.
That's actually Stevie Ray Vaughan. That
Yeah.
was done. That's done with, and that, not the painting we showed, but the boating one, and a lot of my early ones were done with permanent ink, colored pencils, and watercolor markers. So,
And what's this one?
Stevie Ray, that's what this is. Actually, and I did the watercolor markers over. I did that purple, and then I softened it with using white pencil to make it look like the light was
beautiful.
reflecting
I love
off
the
it and
color.
everything. And
And you know what, Steve? You don't have to see his face. You just
No.
know it's him.
well, that made it easier for me.
Yeah.
So, but
I
yeah,
love that
music
color
is very
back.
important to me. So I've done a lot of musical pictures
Musicians.
too.
It's
Now
Bruce,
these
right,
these
boss.
I did these scratchboard. I did like 12 of 14, maybe 15 of these scratchboards in college and law school. Scratchboard is a process where there's like a waxy white paper that's coated with a thin layer of black ink. And what I do is I'll
You cut
draw
away.
first I'll draw the picture in pencil, then I'll tape it to the scratchboard, and I'll bear down
okay.
hard on the pencil.
So you're breaking away the black.
No, that just leaves like a very, like a depression on
Right.
on
But once you
on
do
the
it,
black,
isn't that you're
and I
scraping
can
away?
see, and then I scrape
away.
away,
That's Tom Petty.
leaving the white, so it gives it that yeah.
Now, how do
Tom
you work?
Petty.
You work with photographs, or how do you get the?
Yeah, of course I look at a photograph so I can try to draw the picture as accurately as possible. Actually, every picture I do, I don't do anything like off the top of my head. I'll look at a picture and then I'll
Elvis?
draw from that picture. Yeah.
The young Elvis.
Yeah, Skinny Elvis and Skinnier Elvis.
Yeah.
This is before.
Yeah,
he
right,
got-
that's the early days of Las Vegas and the old days of rock and roll.
yeah.
These are tremendous, Paul. This is great. And I think there's one more piece. So if we could go to the vault, wherever it is.
Apparently they lost it.
I love this because everybody sees David Ortiz after he hits a home run. Always points to the sky. I always wondered what he was pointing at. Now we know.
Well, you know what? A friend of mine, Ricky D'Elia, who's a fellow comic, he was writing a book about the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry, and
Oh, yeah.
I actually drew, I think about 14 or 16 pictures depicting moments in Red Sox history
Oh,
and Red
what a
Sox-Yankee
great
history,
idea.
but we couldn't get them licensed. I mean, it's so
Oh, because-
difficult to get licensing for
really?
Major League Baseball. I actually hired
You're kidding.
a law firm in Boston that specialized in sports law, and they tried after a year. They just said, "Forget it. We give up." But so all these pictures have been just gathering dust, and I
Oh,
just started
that's-
putting them
I
on
love that one.
online. And what I did is I have a woman. I have a good presence on social media,
Yeah.
and I have a woman named Charlene Charlene Bazarian, who does all my social media. She calls it social media strategist.
Right.
And I asked her. I said, leave it on that for a
Yeah,
second.
you'll leave that until he finishes the story.
But I said to Charlene, people want to see my artwork, my friends, and it's nowhere to be found. I said, can we create a Facebook page?
Right.
So she created a page called Paul D'Angelo's Artwork and Photography,
that's-
because I also do photography. So
Wow.
we're just starting to populate it with some of these pictures. I put up a bunch of the Red Sox pictures because of the, they're
Yeah, hey, they win the
relevant
World
right now.
Series. Hey,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
a perfect time.
And when they were playing the Yankees, we put in some of the Yankees, Red Sox Yankees.
Well, I like
stories.
that you even have the audience or the fans in the background. I don't know if you can see it close, but I certainly looked close and you.
Oh yeah,
you-
there's
you
a lot
got
of
the
detail.
faces in there, there's a
But
lot
see,
of
I only
detail.
see the mistakes. That's what you do
Yeah.
when you're an artist.
Yeah.
If I do an hour show as a comedian, I remember the one word I
One
missed.
missed.
But on this one, I forgot to put in a warning track. So that's what I see on this one.
All right,
So
let's see the next one because I think this is represents
that's
a
the
cover you made.
That's a cover of my second CD called Welcome to Suckerville, which is the adult Disneyland where you take kids to show them what life is really like and everything sucks. And
You prepare them.
yes,
Yeah.
it's to prepare the kids
Yeah, that's
for
good.
life, and so I drew that as and once again that face what I did is I altered that face, but because that was actually the entrance of a theme park in Australia.
Really?
But I made the
You
face.
had to change it a little
I
bit.
made the face look a lot more sinister and
Yeah.
everything, but that's where I got
Almost
the
looks
idea.
like the Joker a little bit.
Yeah, because it sucks. Because it's suck world. It's,
It is suck.
Yeah,
It
they
does
get the
suck.
registry of motor vehicles
Yeah, I
ride where
know.
you're in line for
forget
4.5 hours and things like that. Yeah.
But you said something interesting, and this I always find interesting with you. You do put a lot of your segments, humorous bits you do, online. Do you worry about that in terms of?
No, you know what it is? I'm writing so
All the
much.
time.
I mean, well, I've got 3 CDs that are all almost an hour long. Each one is the content is totally different.
Yeah.
I have 2 DVDs that are almost an hour long, and half of each of those DVDs is not on the CDs. So that's
so you're
another
prolific.
hour material. The two books that are all stories are all, none of that really is in my book,
Right.
unless there was something I wrote in the book
Right,
and
right,
then
right.
I incorporated
Build
it
on
into my
it,
act.
yeah.
So I have so much material, and I keep, in fact, I'm probably due for another DVD now, another hour-long DVD. But I keep, it inspires me to write new
That's
stuff. And
Well, that's what I love about your comic, because I go, when I see you, you know you're seeing something new each time.
Yeah.
It's not like old stuff.
well, so I'm not really worried about burning out the material, because I just keep
That's great.
writing it.
Well,
so-
Paul, I got to tell you, I want to thank you for coming by, and what a big surprise.
You're the first person to ever interview me on my art.
Really?
Nobody really knew.
All right,
Yeah.
hey, now we know it. The secret
Groundbreaking.
is out.
Groundbreaking.
Paul Dillon. So the book is called L.A.
L.A.
Miserables.
Miserable.
So get this book. It's really funny. Check it out. And Paul, thanks for coming to the show and sharing your art.
Thank you
because,
for having me on. I
great
appreciate
stuff.
it. It's always good to see you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Paul DeAngelo, fantastic. All right. A lot of people might know it, but it's Free Speech Week, and we just celebrating Free Speech Week, and we have a little video we want to show, and we'll be right back with our second guest. So, ladies and gentlemen, a little celebration of Free Speech Week. All right, thanks, Paul.
Would say, feel really strange about censoring newspapers. Well, in a way, the Access Airways are the modern-day
1990.
newspaper. And I think if you look about it in terms of just what that means is, I think people would be very upset if they started censoring a column that someone was going to write, or a cartoon or comic. I think the same thing should apply to cable television, whereby we have the right to
Or
say...
public access.
It's public access. To say a funny joke or a comedy piece, or have a statement to say in terms of a comment about some life thing that's going on. I mean, the main thing is that the issue tonight is censorship, First Amendment rights, the right to speak your mind. And I think within the context of what I think they're set up as guidelines of certain things like you mentioned, obscenity, libelous things, these also apply to newspapers.
Well, it's also.
All right, quiet and set. All right, let's say we're back. Yes. Hello. We're back. Yeah, I want to thank Paul. He's fantastic. Always a great guest on. And just to let you know, he gave me this T-shirt. I don't know if you can see it. Nice. This is fantastic. He actually did the artwork for this. So this guy is 3 guests in 1, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not every day you get that. So thanks again, Paul. I really do appreciate it. Paul DeAngelo. Yes, let's hear it. All right, it's not just some music. Not only do we have art and authors and comedy, we have music. And this guy's fantastic. He's been on before. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sam Malone. Sam Mulligan. Where's Sam Malone? My God, I'm thinking cheers. Sam Mulligan. Sam Mulligan. Jeez. Think it's easy?
We're going to start out slow. If we were little foxes, would you come over my den? If we were piggies, would you play with me in my pen? And if we were anteaters, I'd let you eat all of my ants. And if we were old people, I'd help you put on your pants. And if we were racehorses, I'd always let you in. And if we were kitties, I'd give up one of my lives so you'd have 10. If we were kitties, I'd do that for you. If we were kitties, yeah. And if we were puppies and you got hurt, I'd be there to lick your cuts. And if we were fireflies, our love would light up our butts. And if we were kitties, I'd do that for you. If we were kitties, yeah, yeah, yeah. Meow, 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 meow. My cat
can't use it at this time. My Game Boy had a talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Mulligan, fantastic. All right, we're going to come back on camera. Well, we're going to back here, maybe, ladies and gentlemen. Again, live TV. This is why we have a script. I'm back. Come on. We're coming. We're coming. We're going to. Hello. Camera one. All right, that was Sam Mulligan. Fantastic. We're going to hear more from him later. You can clap again. Yes, yes, yes. Last week, last Sunday, as usual, we had the Haunt Jaunt race, a 4K race, and it happens in Malden the last 12 years. How old is it, Karen?
13.
13 years, unbelievable. And we have a little video to show you last year's, and when we come back, you're going to meet one of the people who's behind it, Karen Hayes. Let's take a look at Haunt Jaunt 2017 from last year. All right, come on up here. All right, Paul, thank you, man. Take care. Look at the unicorn. Look at that. Look at the unicorn. Look at you guys.
I'm looking
The doctor and somebody's sleeping. I think she has sleep. Oh, you don't know. It's a Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster.
Well, now I see.
To do the registration though, and then.
Yeah, that's what's going on. Let me get this straight. You came as a runner.
As a runner, yeah. Good. That probably is my best disguise. I used to be a real one.
Hello. Yeah. All right.
Yay, FOOGI! Woo! This is the last one, so maybe the number didn't. That makes me feel better.
Hey, cowboy, how you doing?
Here should be two separate. Hi.
Can I get an art?
Me.
Hello, what are you doing?
Thank you guys. It's my witchy
Oh, yeah. Noel, yeah.
Ready. Incredible man.
Ready to go.
Let's hear it for Haunt Jaunt 2017. Unbelievable.
Woohoo!
And now, please welcome one of the people behind this event. It's now 13 years running. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from FOOGI, Karen Hayes. Karen, how you doing?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Karen, thanks for
Good.
coming. This is unbelievable. 13 years of doing
No,
this.
crazy. It's crazy. I'm missing my sidekick,
I know,
Paul
Paul.
Seaswater, yeah.
Where's Paul these days?
Taking care of his 3 babes.
Oh,
you
that's
know,
right.
his
He's-
kids,
he's
you
got
know,
kids,
not
yeah.
babes, kids.
I know. I know. But let's talk about the race. How did it all come together?
Actually, it was Paul's idea. He came to say, I have a great idea about getting people interested in running and health-wise and a fundraiser and a road race. And we thought he was nuts. It was like, yeah, I've never run anything. So then
Yeah,
he
Paul, stick to
actually,
your shocks.
exactly. I was like, road race? What are you talking about? And dress in costume and run. So we thought it was kind of crazy, but we did it anyway. And actually, it ended up getting me started in running, and now I love it, and been running ever since. And people, like, it gets the kids out walking because they get to wear their costumes.
Yes,
So
it's
it's really, it's not, you know, it's a fun run. It's not a serious
exactly.
race, but we do have people, you know, who take it serious and run fast.
Yeah.
And
And you do
then we
give
have
out
people-
awards, which
we
is
give out
fantastic.
awards, absolutely, and with gift certificates and every category. So the kids, everybody goes home with something.
That's great.
And again, the kids have been doing it less and less. We have a 1 mile out and back we called it the kids or the family walk, but every year we've gone less and less, and everybody's been doing the 5K. So that's
Amazing.
great. Little
Yeah,
kids and
that's
in
great.
strollers and running. So yeah, it's great.
Well, I heard it was a great race this year. Unfortunately, it was the first year I missed it.
I
can't
know, we
believe it.
missed you.
I missed you guys. But we do have some photos thanks to Paul Hammersley, who
Yes.
always does a great job taking
does.
photos. And
Oh,
let's see
it's
what we
great.
got here. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
I hear it's growing bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah, it gets better and bigger every year. And I love this because they came as the Hocus Pocus, the Sanderson sisters, and they traveled. They actually Googled races in the area, and I think they were in from like Nevada or something.
Really?
Yes, and they came.
Let's go.
It was
Let's
great.
go right through them. We'll,
Yeah.
and just comment as we go through them. Yeah.
Oh, the Dalmatians, yes,
Yeah.
Cruella and
Yeah,
her.
we go right through them because we got a lot we can go
Yeah.
through. There's a lot of them. Yeah. I hear the mayor every year. The mayor gets into a costume.
He does. This is my favorite this year. I think his costume this year, Uncle Sam. I thought that
Yeah.
was hilarious.
All right, keep going. Yeah, keep going. We want to get to the mayor. See if we can get to the mayor. Keep going till you see Uncle
Oh,
Sam.
there he
is.
is. Yes, Uncle Sam.
Gary loves it. every year
Hilarious. He
gets-
loves it.
I think he topped himself this year.
Yes, I agree. This is my fave. I can't believe he runs in those things.
And he did.
And
he-
fast.
And then he comes in the second or third.
I
sometimes.
know. No, he did. He won
Yeah.
an award. Yep.
All right, keep going. Yeah, there he is. He does look like Uncle Sam. Looks like he's on stilts or something.
It does. I know. I think it's the stripes. I
Yeah.
should start wearing them. Make me look taller.
Yeah. There's another one. And it's great, and it's all ages. You get kids on strollers and baby
Oh, the
carriages.
Cat in the Hat,
Oh, I
yes.
know that guy.
That's
That's Paul.
Paul.
Cat in the Hat, fantastic.
Yeah, all ages.
Yeah.
Up.
Now there's a whole circus act here.
Yes.
What's this all about?
So my family went as a circus. So you'll see Pat soon, hopefully as the ringleader. I was the lion tamer.
I heard
Noelle
Noelle
was
the
the lion.
and she
I had
dro-
the whip, and she was jumping through. And Maya was the tightrope walker.
That's
yes.
fantastic. Oh, she had the umbrella. That's
She
right.
did. Yep.
All right, what else we got? We got more?
That's Debbie, by the way.
Oh, this is the other
Camerata,
thing.
who's-
You
that
have
was-
the people from
Yes.
Maidu does this.
Maidu, Tai Chi, yeah, Walam, Kung Fu and Tai Chi comes out and
Academy.
starts the race off, and they always do like a great, every year they've been with us since day one.
Gets everybody
yeah,
going.
It gets everybody going, and then they kind of run a little bit, they start the race off, and actually shout out to our big monster sponsors, that was South Cove, who's here in Malden. They were great, really helped us out.
Because they just opened up just
That's
what,
right.
this year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was
And
good.
let's talk about the YMCA.
Yeah,
because
YMCA.
That's where it all
Yeah.
happens. Everybody meets there, and this time the dance was inside.
It was inside because it was so cold
that
and
cold?
breezy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they were in here, and that's Core Cardio. That's Ashley from Core Cardio Fitness. He starts us off with Zumba, and the YMCA has been so great and generous with us every year.
Great.
Letting us have it there. Idle Hands. We for the last 2 years have the craft brews. They come in afterwards for our after party,
There's
and we
another
keep
reason
it
to be
all.
in the race. You have
That's
something-
right.
you have
Get beer at the
something to
end.
get quenched your thirst afterwards. Cat in
Yeah.
the Hat and the mayor, Uncle Sam. That's great.
Oh,
And that's
it's
again.
Kelly Collum.
That's
And
Dee?
her husband, yes.
That's Dee. But now, where does she go?
Kelly
Yeah.
Collum and and John, and she is the queen, of course. And
okay.
and John, if there was a close up of him, he went. I think Maya was like the only one who figured it out. I think he's like the plague or something. Like I don't know. He
Really?
had
That's
something.
funny.
Yeah, it's like.
Like,
Yes.
See, there's something behind you. Go
Yes.
away.
The Duff.
Now
Kevin
Duffy's
Duffy.
worn this before, so he's
That's
got a
his
repeat.
costume, the Duff. You know,
The
he has
Duff.
to have it. Yeah, he
Super
he
Duff.
works the end part, which takes a lot of coordination. So
Yeah.
he's always
and
at
that's
the
right.
end.
You have an actual timer, so
Oh, yeah.
people know their time.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Bay State timing. They've been
All right,
great
let's
to
see
us
a few
too.
more.
That's Adam Weldi in the background too.
Oh, look at
yes.
that.
Yeah.
Giraffe?
With some giraffes running. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
those are our youth volunteers. So we have the YMCA leadership crew, and Malden High School track team comes out every year.
Yeah, because they actually hold the sign saying "Go
Yes.
this way, go that way," and they're all over the route.
That's right.
They do
and
a great
so
job.
it's great because they get to see a race in action and how the road race. They love it.
And
The
they all
kids love
volunteer.
it.
It's
They all
fantastic.
volunteer. Yeah.
That's great.
Um,
So how many
it's
do
a
you
lot
think
of
you
fun.
had this year?
I think so. Almost 200. Oh, there's the Hammersley's.
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, and I'm going to say
full moon.
about 200. We want to keep it. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Like we could, partner and make it big, and but we like the feeling of the community
That's a
afterwards.
great
We sit
idea.
together,
And
and
that's what it really is. It's
yeah.
really an
Otherwise,
event.
it's
Gets too big.
yes,
Too
too
big.
big.
for its britches.
That's right, and you don't get
Yeah.
a chance to kind of really enjoy it, and so we'd like to keep it. But if we can get it up to 250, though, that'd be good. But we raised a good amount of money this year, and it goes to Live Strong, the cancer survivors.
Now, do you
cancer.
change every year like the chamber does? Give it to a different group?
No,
or same
it's
group every
it's
time?
same group for the past few years because it's at the Y, so we want to
Okay.
give back to the Y, and it's also a local cause, and it goes straight to helping survivors build back up at the Y.
It's a wonderful
so
event.
It's great, yeah.
Congratulations
No,
on the
thank you.
success. 13 years. Let's hear it for Haunt Jaunt and Karen Hayes. For a great
Thank
job. Well, I want to thank you so much for
No,
coming to the show.
thank you.
And so next year it's already planned. It'll be
It's always the
14th?
weekend before Halloween.
So you're planning already
Yes,
after Halloween?
all the time. I mean,
great.
before Halloween. Did I say after?
Yeah,
It's the
before.
weekend before Halloween.
So it's
yeah.
right after the race ends. You're planning next year.
All the time.
That's
Yes,
great.
right.
All right. Well, thanks again, Karen.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, it's time for some music. We're back on Camera One, and you've heard it before. And if you just tuned in, you missed the first song, but you're lucky because now you're getting the second song. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Mulligan.
All right. Woohoo! Do I jump down now? Or do I sit there? Thank you so much. Got it.
1984, we were on our way. What I was looking for, well, I cannot say. I'm not withholding, I just don't know. But it doesn't matter, cause we ended up in limbo, stuck in a time warp. It's alright, have no fear. It's really dark, can't see any stars, but I still got a good feeling we'll get out of here. Now it's been a week, I'm thirsty and tired. No wood, no matter, we can't even start a fire in space. Now it's cold, but we're not old, cause in the time warp mortals do not age. Stuck in a time warp, it's alright, have no fear, it's really dark. The scenery's quite stark, but I still got a good feeling we'll get out of here. Must have been some type of miscommunication. Send a mayday signal back to home station. They can save us, so don't give up hope. Oh look, they got back to us right away. I'll read it out loud so we're on the same page. Yeah? Oh, we should give up hope. Well, that's not great news. It's time to die, so close your eyes. Put your head between your thighs and kiss them buns goodbye. Stuck in a time warp. Stuck in a time warp.
All right, Sam Mulligan. All right, we're still going.
Write a goodbye note. The end is near. I think by now we've all realized everybody dies here. ending. I apologize. This is a dance break.
All right, Sam Mulligan. All right, okay, right there. Where's that camera? Up there. It's funny. It's pretty. All right, you know what? I forgot to go to this PSA. I forgot before I get Sam to come over here. Let's go to this for Community Media Day. That's all this week, and I do want to show that before Sam came over. So let's go to that, and
Establishment of
let's go
religion.
back and we'll see Sam. Talk to Sam. All right. Go ahead.
Shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion,
No, don't worry
or
about it.
prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech,
don't worry about it.
or of the press,
Yeah.
or the right of the people peaceably
Oh, you
to
know what?
assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances.
No, you come on back.
Public access
Yeah, come
television.
on, Sam.
Television of the people, by the people, for the people.
All right, we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a little bit about Democracy Day, Democracy Week, or Free Speech Week, I should say. And I want to thank James much for putting that together. And now, please welcome the musician himself, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Mulligan. All right.
Thanks,
It
Ron.
used to be Sam Malone, right? So thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks
I
for
always
having
love
me.
your music because it's so funny, witty, and kind of out there.
It's a little out there. I'm a little out there.
You're
I
out
can't
there.
really help it.
I know. So let's talk a little bit about how that all came about.
Sure.
And where does all that stuff?
So the guitar is my guitar.
Yeah.
And
That I recognize.
I use that to play the guitar chords with, and some pretty sick guitar riffs. And then all the backing tracks you hear are coming from a Nintendo Game Boy, and I program the Nintendo Game Boy to make all those sounds. And so all the sounds you hear are just
So you're
coming
turning
straight
them
from the
off,
sound
turning
chip.
them on, and all that?
I program the whole song in.
Really?
So I've got 4 channels to work with on the Game Boy.
Wow.
And you get like 2 pulse waves, which are like really pure like electronic tones that you can do some fun stuff with. And then there's a really low quality sample channel, but you can also get some really like awesome bass noises out of
Yeah.
that channel because you can hand draw your waveforms.
Yeah. See, it's like a whole band from outer space.
Yeah.
It's
I try to make it sound as much like a band as possible.
it's fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So, do you play around the area, Sam?
I do.
Gigs?
Yeah.
Where's some of your gigs that you're coming up, maybe?
So I've only got 1 show booked right now,
Yeah.
But if people want to know
Yeah, how do
when
they
the
get
next
hold of
one, I'm pretty active on Instagram. I say pretty active. I post whenever I have a show,
Yeah.
so once every month or so. But I'm on Instagram at Hey Scram,
Okay.
and then I'm also on Facebook at Hey Scram and Twitter, and my website is sammulligan.com. If Hey Scram is too hard to remember, you can
Yeah.
just go to sammulligan.com, and there's links there.
Right. It's interesting you got that phone call during your song. That was
Yeah,
amazing.
it was great timing, really.
So, when did you first realize that, you know, I could put this music, these Game Boy things to make it music? I mean, that's not everyone thinks about that. Right?
I think for a long time, I wanted to have my own backing band that I could program and tell them exactly what to do, because the Game Boy is never late to band practice.
Yeah.
It never loses rhythm. It's
Right.
always in tune, unless I want it to not be.
Yeah.
But it's just, I really love the way that it sounds. And I was really
like it too.
influenced by artists like Adam and His Package
Yeah.
and Anamanaguchi, who, you know, program a lot of music and then play real instruments.
And you write these songs yourself, obviously?
I do. Yep. I play mainly originals, a couple covers here and there. I just released a new album on my birthday this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
What was the name of the album?
It's called Shark Party.
Shark Party. I like
Yeah.
the title. And how do we get it?
You can
Same
find
way?
it. It's on Spotify. I'm on Sam Mulligan. That's my
great.
name.
Yeah.
I'm not a very creative artist name.
Yeah.
That's my given name.
Now, how does that work for Spotify? Do they pay you? Or do you get money from it?
Oh
How does
yeah,
that work?
big bucks.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Really?
I got paid for the first time. I first started on Spotify, put my first EP, Big Hand Band Van Man.
All
which is
right.
a real easy to remember title. That's been on Spotify for 5 years. I just got my first check for $15.
That's what I'm saying.
So-
It's not easy being a musician today. It's
No.
like, it's not. I can't imagine.
I get more money from T-shirts. I have some good.
Should have bought some T-shirts. You
I
could've
should
helped
have.
them out.
My newest T-shirt design I drew all by myself.
Yeah.
It's got a Game Boy and 2 guitars and some sharks and some donuts and a slice of pizza. And
You're kind of a Renaissance man yourself. Then you draw.
working on
Who's
it.
drawing these days? That's great.
I got a big show coming up in January.
Oh, what's
but
that? Where's that?
It's in National Harbor, Maryland.
All right.
So
Anybody in Maryland, you got a chance to see Sam again. That's great.
it's at a big music and gaming festival called MagFest.
Really?
And this is going to be a one-night only show. I'm playing on Saturday on the main stage, which is a big deal for me
Oh, yeah?
personally because I love MagFest. I've been 5 years now. It's
That's
amazing.
great.
It's so much fun. But
So you've been going all this time, and then they finally invited you to be participant.
well, yeah. I played on like some side stages.
Oh, okay.
I'm very grateful to have been involved in that. But this is like a
working
one-night
your way
only
up.
thing. And so what I'm doing is I'm not going to play just me and my Game Boys. I'm I'm teaching a whole band my songs.
A real
so it's going to
band.
be me with a real band for one night
Well, that's
only.
great. Well,
Yeah.
I love the sound. It's very unique, and I think we have time for one more song.
Oh,
Sam.
great.
All right.
Right now?
So, it's
Oh,
probably we should have went to the video now, but I think about it. But we got a long shot, so I'm gonna take you off
Sure.
the mic and have you go over to the. What's the name of the song we're gonna hear?
Well, I want to play a song about ninjas. So this is going to be Ninja Song Part 2.
All right.
And you'll never hear Part 1 because it's awful. But Part 2 is pretty good.
Okay. All right. He's gonna walk over to the stage, and let's hear another song from Sam Mulligan, ladies and gentlemen.
I got my guitar played right here.
You got it?
All right, so this song's a little bit louder. Hope that's okay. I got my ninja sword. I'm gonna be a samurai someday. You'll say, he's so cool. Been practicing my slash. Now you'll give me all of your cash because I told you to. When the day finally arrives and I can say I'm a samurai, I'll also say I told you so. I got my ninja sword. I'm gonna be a samurai today. You'll say you killed my whole family. Well, boo-hoo. When the day finally arrives and I can say I'm a samurai, I'll also say I told you so. This is where it gets really real. I'd ask you if you're ready, but I know you're not. Into all the enemy samurai warriors, I've got a little message for you. I'm gonna do what James Hetfield told me to do back in '82. Actually, it might have been 1984, but I don't know. And I don't care. I'm gonna kill them all. I said I'm gonna kill them all. I'm gonna kill them all. I said I'm gonna kill them all. 'Cause I want blood and guts and tendons in my teeth. I'm gonna turn their entrails into a holiday wreath. I'll be hacking and slashing I'll cut 'em into bits, I'm gonna kill 'em all until they die from it. Actually, on second thought, I'm a pacifist. Don't want to hurt nobody, so I'll just follow the sage advice of Lil Jon. Radio edit, of course. Don't start no ish, it won't be no ish. Don't start no ish, it won't be no ish. Don't start no ish, it won't be no ish. Don't start no ish, it won't be no ish. Hey! Thanks for having me, Ron.
Fantastic. All right. Okay, we'll get a camera on me somewhere. Here we go. All right. Thank you, Sam, so much. Appreciate it. And listen, we're running out of time, but I want to thank all my guests. Let's hear for Paul D'Angelo, fantastic comedian, author, and artist. And let's hear for FOOGI one more time. Karen Hayes and the FOOGI group. I tell you, they do a great job for the last 13 years. It's been wonderful. And who else? Oh, we have 3 minutes. I was thinking there was another guest I forgot. Let's hear it for 3 minutes. Yeah, all right. Oh, this just in, ladies and gentlemen. 3 minutes. 3 minutes to go. So here I am worried about that we're not going to have enough time. And here we are. We've got now less than 3 minutes. I'll say that again, less than 3 minutes. No, I want to thank everybody for coming on the show. And I want to also thank, this is incredible. Tonight, I think we got at least 3 people who are doing this for the first time, crewing the production of Live on Tape. Let's hear it for the crew of Live on Tape. So I can't stress enough, and let's hear for our director, Paula Spazzeri, does a great job. Let's hear for Paula. She's the captain of the ship. And the ship is still floating. That's what's amazing. So anyway, I want to reach out to you people who are watching. First of all, I want to thank you for watching. And second, if you say to yourself, you know what, I'd like to do that. Come on down and see what I can do on a camera or in the control room. Maybe you want to direct or run the audio or just kind of see what it's like to do a TV show. That's what this show is really all about. We have a good time putting it together, but we're always looking for people to come on down, get behind the cameras, become a floor manager. There's your chance to tell people what to do. It's an unbelievable thing. And then always we want to train directors because, Paula's got a lot on her shoulders. She can't do this every month. I mean, my goodness, she wants to take a break sometimes. So we'd love to be able to teach somebody else to be another director so we have more than one director at a time. So again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. We do the show once a month. It's always the third Monday of the month. And hopefully you'll come on down and be in the audience. We're always looking for an audience. So again, I think that's a sign that I've killed 3 minutes just now. So thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Live on Tape. Bye-bye, everybody.
This is your town. This is my town. Take a look around. It's the great escape. This is your town. This is my town. Take a look around. It's Live on Tape. Live on Tape. Live on Tape. Live on Tape. It's Live on Tape. Live on Tape. Live on Tape. Live on Tape.
All right, 10 seconds, people.